welcome back for week 2. Hopefully I didn't scare you away the first week with Flipgrid. All right, so let's talk about week 2. Our topic for this week is cultural diversity and economic disadvantage, the invisible gifted. So at the top, you're going to see our learning objectives. We are going to do another Flipgrid. Woo! Hopefully you guys like that. We will keep experimenting with this. So thank you for being my guinea pigs again with this one. So what I want you to do is you're going to have the same rules, 2 minutes and 30 seconds or less to respond. You have to be at least 1 minute. Okay, less than a minute is kind of pushing it, I think, on your initial post, but your follow-up posts don't have to be exceptionally long. Okay, so what I want you to do for this week is I want you to read some various different things. One is the Hecox book. Hecox is the red book. You're going to read chapter 8, Understanding and Reversing Underachievement. Then there's 2 articles in here about underrepresentation of culturally different students in gifted education. So here, let's just kind of highlight these. This article and this article are both excellent and very timely, even though they were written, I believe one of them is from 2007, but the current issues and trends that they're talking about are still important for today. So the underrepresentation article, as well as cultural considerations of underrepresentation of culturally diverse elementary students in gifted ed, are both 2 important articles. So please read those. I'm not saying that the book's not important. It is too, but those 2 articles I would definitely say you would want to take a look at. Chapter 13 in the RIM book also has a discussion of cultural diversity and economic disadvantage, so take a look at there. So what I want you to do on Flipgrid is answer these questions, okay? The first one, how might your own culture influence your judgments, decisions, and beliefs about diverse learners? Then I want you to examine the question, how might your students' cultural backgrounds and experiences influence their beliefs, behaviors, participation, and effort in the learning context? How might cultural influences impact you and your students' interests in the classroom? Okay. And then I want you to think and reflect on this one. How might I connect with students in meaningful ways to build on both the students and my cultural background? Okay. Now, these last 2 questions are particularly important as we reflect on what's going on in society today. Question 4, I want you to think about how you might integrate the summer's Black Lives Matter protests in classroom discussions. And I also want you to address the question of how do we look at the issue of lack of people of color in Mississippi gifted programs? How do we improve there? So those are your 5 questions for Flipgrid this week. And I want you to really reflect on these articles, and you can skim through these chapters. The articles are really the most important here. I want you to mention at least 2 of the readings in your discussion. Generate 1 question for your peers to answer, and that's in your initial post. And then I want you to do respond to 2 of your peers. So that's what one of your main assignments. You're going to have a second one I'm going to talk about a little bit. Your Flipgrid link is here. So what you'll do, again, you'll log in with your Google account, and you'll go in, and then there's our week 2 Flipgrid. You'll record your video right on here. Okay, so just press that green button and go. That's all we're going to do. So that's all the questions there. You're going to see the rubric that I'm going to be looking at specifically when I grade your Flipgrid videos. There's the articles that I talked about that you'll need to read. There's a PowerPoint that will help with essential concepts of chapter 13. But I also felt that this was important to put in here about underachievement and how to use formative assessments. So that information is in here as well, and that's from your red book, the Hecox book. So that's first part of week 2. Now, second part of week 2, you're going to have your in-service presentation due. Okay, now I'm trying to kind of do this as our midpoint, because lots of times at the end of the semester we all feel stressed and we're all like, oh my gosh, I gotta keep moving, I gotta keep going. So I put this in here. So you're going to have your Flipgrid. Your initial post is going to be due Sunday, June 12th by 11:59. And then your follow-up to your peers is going to be due Tuesday, July 14th by 11:59. Now, your PowerPoint for this class is going to be due on Thursday, July 16th at 11:59. Let's talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to go in here to the video, to the link. I am in the video. See, sometimes your mind and your, yes, okay. So click on in-service presentation due. And then there are specific instructions in here, which I'm going to show you in a second. So the instructions are in here. Where you're going to submit your PowerPoint presentation is in blue right here. So once you've done it, now some people like to use Google Slides. That's completely fine. If you could change that into a PDF so that I would be able to view it, that would be really helpful. I don't like Keynote. It sometimes does not work. I do have a Mac, but I prefer if the presentation be either in PowerPoint or if it would be in Google Slides. What you're going to be focusing on, this is when we talk about twice exceptional. I know Dr. Lowry talks a little bit about this, but chapter 15 specifically speaks about twice exceptional learners. And so there's a PowerPoint in here that talks about chapter 15, and that's in the RIM book. There's an article about that as well. And we also have a video about twice exceptional learners on here as well. So that could help you in writing this. So let's look specifically at the instructions. Okay. I don't know why that's so small. Okay, there we go. So what I want you to do is you're going to focus on what are atypical gifted learners. So you have options, because I believe in options. We all need options. This option 1 is you have to answer all 6 of these questions in the PowerPoint. Okay, so that's option 1. So you'll answer all 6 of these. Option 2 is you pick one of these questions and you just provide in-depth information. So maybe you are so interested in the impact of poverty and culture on the definition and assessment of gifted. You can choose to do your entire PowerPoint on this. That's totally fine. Or maybe you decide, hey, I'm really interested in social and emotional functioning of gifted students. So I'm going to focus my PowerPoint on that. But just say you're just thinking, you know what, I really think I want to know everything about everything on here. Then choose to answer each of these 6 questions. Okay, so you can choose to pick one and go deep, or you can just do all 6 and then just give us the information. What I'm trying to do, guys, is I'm trying to build your toolbox, because many times gifted teachers are asked to provide in-service training to other teachers. And so I really want to kind of help you build your toolbox so that you can go back to your administrator and say, hey, you know what? I had to do this presentation for my class, and I'd really like to talk to other teachers about it. So feel free, okay, to kind of think about it from that perspective. Your presentation must include references. You can use the textbooks or materials on Blackboard. You can also use other references you find online. You can use things from the Ole Miss Library. You can use things from Google Scholar. You can use other things that you find, as long as they're reputable. Don't use someone's blog, of course. You must have a reference slide. That's one of the things I really need to see here. I need to see where your information is coming from. So that is right there in bold, okay? Here is how I'm going to be grading you. This PowerPoint is worth 100 points. So I'm looking specifically for content. Is your content accurate? Is the information adequately portrayed? Okay. Is the focus there of the presentation? Is it clear? Visual appeal, are the information that you use, are they engaging. It's not like you have all this text. And so I'm kind of looking for overall, as a viewer of the presentation, what that's looking for. Mechanics, I'm looking to make sure that there's not a whole lot of errors, because that can be sometimes distracting during a presentation. And then I'm looking for the essential elements. So if you choose option A, I want to see all 6 questions. If you choose option B, I want to make sure that you have included enough depth there. Okay. Guys, sometimes people ask me in terms of how many slides you need. I would think, do what you need to do, but I'm not expecting this to be like 60 slides, okay? Most students will do this in 12 to 20 slides, sometimes more, sometimes less, just depends on what they've got in there. But I want to make sure that you understand this information and that you be willing to share it, or you might be willing to share it in the future. All right, that's it for week 2. Hopefully you feel okay now. So let me know if you have questions. All right, thanks. Bye.